The late U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg once said that women belong in all places where decisions are being made. It's a quote that, of course, rings true, but does not quite reflect the reality of the world today. A disproportionate number of men hold positions of power, a discrepancy that is well present in every aspect of society as well. It's also the case for the largest and most powerful intergovernmental organization in the world, the United Nations, which has never had a female Secretary General in its almost 80 years of history. Well, to discuss the future of female leadership and global governance in politics, I'm pleased to welcome Susana Malcorra. She's the president and co-founder of GWL Voices for Change and Inclusion. She's also held a number of senior positions at the United Nations, including the position of Chief of Staff and of the former Secretary General Pan Ki-moon. Such a pleasure to have you with us. Thank you so much for joining us here on France 24. First of all, I'd like to begin by asking you, what led you to co-launch this initiative, GWL, the group of women leaders, and what is its vision to shift towards a world in which women are given more opportunities?
Thank you for having me. And, we are three co-founders. Is Helen Clark, former Prime Minister of New Zealand and former administrator of UNDP, Irina Bokova, former Director General of UNESCO, I'm sure you know her, and myself. And the three of us have something in common. We competed to be Secretary General last time around in 2016. It was 7 women who competed, 6 men, 13 in total. And of course, although everybody was saying after 70 years that it was going to be a woman, here we are, we have Antonio Guterres, another man, as Secretary General. So after that, we decided that we were going to work on 2 issues that we care about. One of them was the strengthening of the multilateral system, global governance, global issues, but to do that from the lens of women, only from the lens of women, that women's perspective, and to really rally for stronger leadership in the case of the system. So that's why we are here, and that's why we are advocating for more women in power positions.
Now, the UN has never had a female Secretary General. There have, been serious female contenders in the past, as you just mentioned, yourself and the former New Zealand Prime Minister, Helen Clark, as well. You've said in the past that having a female leader at the helm is not just symbolism, but it's also of vital importance to the United Nations. So why does the UN need a female-led future, in your opinion?
Well, first of all, the Charter of the United Nations starts with "we the peoples." And the peoples are men and women. We women are more than 50% of the peoples. So after 80 years, it's high time for a woman to lead. On top of that, the UN needs energizing, and it's our view that having a woman has a strong symbolism for the peoples of the world, that something is changing, that there is something new at the top, at the helm. And on top of that, it's a moment where the issues are interconnected, the issues are very, very interlinked, they are complex, and we believe that a women's perspective can bring a different approach to solutions that are so badly needed.
Now, many studies have shown how women and girls are, disproportionately affected by the critical issues facing the world today, like climate change, conflict and wealth inequality. So in the face of all this, what can women in such a leadership position, like the leader of the United Nations, do differently?
Well, first of all, this is a task that is not performed by just one person. So we need a group of people rallying to solve all these issues. But having a woman that leads the United Nations, that represents a symbol of the United Nations with a new approach to the issues, having a woman that normally reads things from different angles, that adds different perspectives, that brings solutions that sometimes, particularly in the space of peace and security, are too man-like, is something that provides an opportunity. And we have gotten here after 80 years of men leading, so maybe it's a chance for a woman to show that things can be done differently.
Now, you've said also in the past that, gender equality is progress for all. Can you expand on what this means? Why gender equality, translates to, progress for all, not just women, but men and the world in general? Well,
first of all, statistics shows that, and studies shows that if women have full participation in all areas of society, the GDP of the world will grow in significant numbers. So that's that means that this is not a zero-sum game. It's an opportunity for all of us to grow and to expand. Second, the fact that you have women there, again, will seek solutions that are opportunities for all. That's for sure. That's the approach that women have in team building and problem solving. So no question, from an economic standpoint, from a development standpoint, from a peace and security standpoint, we can bring to the table a table that will have men and women, not only women, of course, a different way to addressing the issues.
And it's fair to say that, political participation is key to equality. We're seeing that, in Iran, there's a huge disparity in how women are treated. They're treated like second-class citizens. And in Afghanistan, under Taliban rule, they're being essentially erased. Having yourself, having held senior positions in the United Nations, how do you think these issues could be addressed by a female at the helm?
Well, no question, seeing these situations happen throughout the world. You mentioned a couple of examples, but we can go and show examples throughout the world. And to a certain extent, seeing that there is a pushback that takes women back even farther, having a woman there will address the question with a different type of solution seeking, embracing the fact that women do make a difference. Women cannot be silenced. Women's rights are human rights. Remember, next year is the 30th anniversary of Beijing. We need to go back and look into the commitments made and say, it's time for them to be delivered, and it's time for women to deliver to their societies and to themselves. That's what is needed.
And how can, gender equality in positions of power like the UN Secretary General have an impact on global peace and security in general, the big picture?
Well, global peace and security is something that, again, cannot be addressed by the Secretary General herself. But the Secretary General can build bridges, can seek solutions, can find quiet ways to approach different leaders to seek solutions that probably are not very manlike, but precisely for that reason may yield different results. So it's the question of have the society having the chance to do things in a different manner and to do things with the other half of society.
Thank you so much, Susana Malcorra. We appreciate very much your time in being here and for your insights. It's very interesting. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you.
Well, you're watching